Welcome back. What do neoconservative American politicians and Baluchi Iranian militants have in common? Well, it might be more than you think, and here to tell us why is investigative journalist and RT contributor Wayne Madsen with new insight into the Rigi brothers. So Wayne, you've been bringing us these reports with new information on the Rigi brothers who were both captured by Iran. The latest is you have reason to believe that that the Rigi brothers are connected to the Shah from Iran.
Well, their cousin is a man named Amanullah Khan Rigi, whose background is not in the hinterlands of Iranian Baluchistan, but he was a member of the Shah's royal court. The cousin, Amanullah Khan Rigi, has been a frequent guest at the American Enterprise Institute here in Washington, the big neocon citadel that brought us people like Ahmad Chalabi. Now, when you look at the background of Amanullah Khan Rigi, he makes Chalabi look honest by comparison. In 2000, the Rigi cousin, the elder Rigi, was involved in a scam where he was trying to pawn off as a mummy of a Persian princess, a daughter of Xerxes, the Persian king, trying to pawn that off as a real mummy, was involved in contacts with the Metropolitan Museum in New York. It turned out this was some poor, unfortunate young woman who was murdered in Pakistan, and it was found out to be a fraud. So we've got the same elements here with the attempt to go into Iran, as we saw with Iraq, with people like Chalabi, who brought us Curveball, the person who tried to tell us that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction.
Aha. So do you see any kind of further implications here with this connection you've made?
Absolutely. I think what we're seeing is the CIA and these others playing the same old game of the people they do business with are these fraudsters and con men, and certainly it seems that way. I would also point out that the person who hosted Amanullah Khan Rigi at American Enterprise Institute was none other than Michael Ledeen, who's also in bed with the Mojahedin Khalq, another Iranian terrorist group. So the State Department is saying any idea that the U.S. was supporting Jundallah, a terrorist group, they've used words like absurd, nonsense. Well, let's look at the record. I mean, we've got now a link between Jundallah, then their base of support here in Washington, same people that support the MEK, the Mujahedin Khalq, which is also a terrorist group, designated so by the State Department.
Well, and you've also connected the Rigi brothers to some other VIPs, Richard Holbrooke, billionaire George Soros. Tell us how this connection all works.
Well, this is this whole idea of basically delegitimizing the Iranian government, and we see basically the people who are supporting these NGOs that are active in Iran, and certainly there was a lot of proof that the NGOs, including those supported by Mr. Soros, were involved in the street demonstrations, getting the people riled up during the Green Revolution after the what we were told was a fraudulent election by Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. But it's the same. It seems like it's the same construct we saw prior to the invasion of Iraq, with the lobbying effort here in Washington being some of the same players that got us in this disastrous mess in Iraq.
And Wayne, you always mention these sources, these unnamed sources in South and East Asia. Who are your sources? Who are these people?
Well, I don't name them because, like the famous investigative journalist Jack Anderson, his predecessor Drew Pearson, to name them would be to destroy their access to information. But these are people who have contact with intelligence services from China to India, to Pakistan and further afield, including some with the U.S. intelligence.
All right, Wayne. Well, we'll keep hearing what those sources are telling you and what new information you bring us on these stories, and the latest always on the Rigi.